Welcome to the Vulnerable Room. Hey everybody, and welcome on back to yet another episode of Season 3 of the Vulnerable Room podcast. Thank you so much for your amazing feedback from the first few episodes of Season 3. You guys are loving these videos. And I'm going to try to tap into them some more. It's a little rough sometimes. I'm not going to lie, especially having a crazy day at work or right now. I'm dealing with preparing for vacation. So it's given appointment Olympics soon come. So, before your vacation, you just thugging it out, looking a little rough and tough. Look, missing nails, okay? But we here, okay? For those of my real ones that can relate, I see you, you see me. We see each other. So first things first. So let's talk about the book that I've been reading. It's called 7 Days in June. That was by Tia Williams. And this is, I think, I would say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is my 10th book. 10th book, and my goal is to read 12. We almost there, and the year's not even over, so I'm definitely going to surpass that. I felt like the book was good, but it was just missing something. Like, it was a romantic novel. I love romance novels, but it was something that was missing for me, and this seems to be the book that is talked about so much. I'm not saying that it's a bad book, but for me personally, I felt like it was just missing a little something. But take a peek. If you're into books, hit up and let me know what you think. So my next book that I had on hold for so long finally is off of hold, and the book is Black Cake. Some of y'all seen the Hulu special, and I had to read the book. I had to read the book because the book and the series, sometimes there's missing parts or added parts. I needed the tea. So that book finally came off a hold today, actually, and I immediately just started. So I am ready for vacation, y'all. Your girl is tired, but we move. Baby, I cannot wait for vacation. Any of you guys got vacations coming up? If you do, let's connect offline. I want to know where you're going. And yeah, I'm not telling y'all where I'm going. Y'all going to have to follow me on TikTok or Instagram to find out where I'm going, because I'm going to definitely give some content wrap up when my trip wraps up. Okay. I don't know if I have any kava lovers in here, but I tried kava for the first time, and I had a bowl, and it was steak and something, but it was amazing. Those pickled onions, amazing. Everything was well seasoned. I enjoyed it. A little pricey. That's not something that's going to be, I'm going to treat myself to all the time, but it's good. It's good. So today's topic is entitled Affirmations. I have a special guest today, and her name is Vena. And some of you may know her from the Konfession Korner. She's a podcaster, my fellow podcast me, okay? And just to give you some background of who she is, Vena is the mama and the host of the Konfession Korner Podcast. And she's a licensed social worker. Shout out to my health administration folks, okay? Period. Vena J is a dynamic curator, facilitator, and host dedicated to amplifying the visions and voices of Black creatives and artists through events such as panels and social gatherings with the intention of highlighting the humanity of artists and creators while noting the importance of mental health and wellness. With a talent for transforming spaces, she excels at engaging audiences with Black artists, creatives, and influencers, showcased through her role as the creator and host of the Confession Korner podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I now introduce to you Miss Vena from the Confession Korner. How you doing?
I'm good, T. Thank you so much. And I just want to say, again, I haven't told you before, thank you so much for having me on your platform. This is so dope. It's so beautiful. I really love what you do with like your conversations and even your interviews. I watched a couple before. I still watch it while I'm on my time. I'll be like tuning. I'm like, hold on. So thank you so much for having me. Thank you for just having a space for people to articulate themselves, share their stories, and you being a narrator in a sense, and just a storyteller, navigating that. I really do appreciate from one podcast and sister to another. Like,
okay,
it's
and
dope.
As you're giving me my flowers, I got a little goosebumps. But thank you. I want to say we appreciate you for you putting your craft out there, your willingness to be open, your willingness to be transparent, vulnerable too as well. And she's new as well, just like me. So this is why we here. Keep doing what you're doing. You are flourishing out here, girl.
Girl, I'm just keeping my head above water, making a wave when I can. You hear me? Like that's all I'm doing. Just making progress, pivoting progress. I think that's kind of like my new motto moving into as I am exploring womanhood, pivoting progress. I think it's such a exploration type of time, and there's so many challenges or so many like turns and things that come out of nowhere. So as we pivot, progress. It's been fun, but girl, likewise to you. I receive. Thank you so much. Give that back to you 10 times.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. See, this is what we need more of in the community, especially as Black women, especially as upcoming like creatives, content creators, whatever you want to label it as, podcasters, etc. Being in this oversaturated market, I would say, it's hard. And I always get nervous reaching out to people to bring them on to my podcast because obviously there's something that I see that I feel like you would be a great fit. They would get the opposite reaction than what they're expecting. I say that to say, for the most part, everybody that I have reached out to, there's a reason. And again, I appreciate you for coming on to the vulnerable room. Like, this means a lot to me, whether you know it or not. So, girl, thank you.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Today, we're going to jump into the topic of affirmations.
Okay.
So, my first question to you is, what is your definition of affirmation?
My definition, if anything, is just the water that keeps me hydrated or my personality or my hydrated, if anything. I know, go ahead. That's not poetic. No, seriously. I feel like affirmations to me are just a love letter to myself, love statement to myself. And sometimes even if it's not like, love language, like, oh yeah, you're so amazing, you're this and that and third. I think it's more so reflection type of words. Just for me to become more grounded within myself. I do take affirmations very seriously because I do believe that what you put into yourself, you do manifest for you to become. So I do take them very, very seriously. But like I said before, I feel like it is the water that nourishes my soul and my personality and just who I am. And I believe that affirmations really do make up who you are, whether, it's good, bad, whatever the case may be, what you put your energy and words into, like, that's what manifests or who you will manifest into if you continue to, like, keep it up or maintain it. So, yeah.
I like that definition. Can you repeat that? It's the water. Like, I'm going to have to write this down.
I believe that affirmations are the water that replenishes my soul and my personality and just helps me grow into, like, more of who I am. I give it out to y'all because I understand.
But it's true though, because you said something like, basically what you say, you become.
Absolutely.
And we don't realize that until, like, for example, you'll say things like, oh, why is this always happening to me? I have the worst luck, or, maybe it's not meant for me to get married. You start having this mindset. And when you
Right.
start having mindset, you really start to walk in that. And we really
Right.
have to be careful with the things that we say because, there's power in the tongue. So I like that. Why do you feel that affirmations are important?
I feel like they're very important because I like to speak nice to myself. I speak nice and highly about everyone else, at least the people that I do consider like to a high regard or that are close within my proximity. And I feel like they're very important. Words maneuver things. Words, like you said, like it's a power. It's power in in your tongue. So with like using your ability in that power, I do believe that it has to be handled with care or with more, if not so much care, but just more intention. Even if it's, you trying to go ahead and hype yourself up. You could sit here and say, I am an amazing type of person, and that's very nice. There's no doubt about there's no doubt about that. But if you sit here and say, I am a phenomenal person, spirit moving throughout this realm, this world, and I am divinely aligned, that hit a little harder. You know what I'm saying? That hits a little harder. But however you decorate it, however you want to navigate that type of
Absolutely.
wording for yourself, I feel like it's very important for you to really intentionally think about it because words do matter. Words mean something. I don't think it's just anything like, just carelessly. Even when I've noticed some people say, oh, yeah, I didn't mean that. When they say certain things when they're mad or whatever case may be, to me, there's a little indifferent type
Truth.
of thing about that. Yeah, there's a truth in that because something in you brought that out. Like something in you wanted to say that. And even though maybe you may not fully believe in it, there's a little bit of truth in you that believes that, oh, X, Y, and Z, what you just disclosed. So I do believe it's very important to be intentional about your words, especially affirmations, especially when you're talking about yourself. I think we are our worst critics, and I feel like we are very hard on ourselves, me especially.
Absolutely.
I'm working in the space and navigating the space in my womanhood where I'm trying to give myself much more grace and just not only my personal life, but then also like my artistry, also how I navigate, romantic relationships, platonic relationships, everything else under the sun. So I do believe that I have to intentionally like make sure I'm centering myself in the best possible way so I can talk nicely about myself, so I can give myself some grace. Or even when I need to know I need to hike it up in gear. So it just all depends on how you hold yourself, how you see yourself, and intentionally speaking, words or life into yourself. Very important just to maintain a certain level of affirmations or whatever like the affirmation looks like for you. So yeah.
Okay. So, which
Mm.
affirmation do you find the most empowering? Like, what is your mantra? Like, what do you say every day? Like, what speaks volumes to you?
And I think I put it on my personal Instagram, and I think I'm finding a little bit more comfort. Not I think I know, Sue. I know I'm, I'm finding more comfort in just understanding that I am a catalyst flowing through different mediums. I say
Mm,
that a lot. I say that a lot in my head, or I say that to myself, more often now, because I have a school brain sometimes. Like I'm like, if 1 + 1 = 2, then that's just it. But being a creative, being a podcaster, being a narrator, being all these multifaceted type of things within like, just podcasting or storytelling or hosting or whatever, navigating conversations, I find myself a little, I want to say tight in my mind because I'm like, oh no, it has to be like this. It has to.
girl.
And one of my good sisters had told me, she was like, I think you hold yourself to a very beautiful like pedestal, but also I need you to relax sometimes. Like I need you to relax. Everything's not gonna be 1 + 1 = 2. Like it very much can, but some days it's not. As silly as it's not even silly, but as like, well, what is it going to equal up then? But you just never know. That's how life is. That's how navigating womanhood is, navigating artistry, navigating as a creative. Some things are just not as concrete as we think it is or we presume it to be. And I do believe that just saying that type of mantra, and reminding myself that I am just figuring this out, I don't have it all together, but the things I do or I have acquired really make up for who I am right now. And I'm just flowing
Absolutely.
through all of it. I think after my latest birthday, I had declared that this is the year of flowing and growing. And what does that mean? It's
Mm,
like I'm flowing along with the pivots. I'm flowing along with certain things, not forcing things and not trying to overextend myself. But then also once I get to the point where I'm realizing, okay, after the flow, we continue to flow. Once we get the hang of that, then I'm going to start growing into certain aspects, certain characteristics. I think that just makes everything so much blissful. So yes, my best affirmation as of right now, as of recent, is I am a catalyst flowing through different mediums.
I love it. That's
Thank
different.
you.
Do you think that you're like black and white? You don't like gray areas?
I've learned to grow, learned to find companionship in gray areas
Okay.
rather than be my enemy. I've always looked at it like, no, 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 it can't just be, it can't be that. It has to be this or that. And it's like,
That's what I'm struggling with.
yeah, quite frankly, my dear, it is not that simple. It is the world is not navigate, especially a black woman exercising her creativity, but also still being in a career because I am a licensed master social worker as
Okay.
well and therapist.
Okay. Work
Okay.
it up.
So I'm navigating that type of life, within my career, but also encompassing my artistry. I am a podcaster that's conversations with Black artists, creatives, and influencers, just navigating through their artistry, but then also highlighting the humanity of them and what mental health and wellness looks like. So everything kind of meshes together, but it's still kind of a split. And when I first started out, I'm like, no, this is my mind. No, that's my mind. I have to, it has to be two separate things, but
Yeah.
navigating through it and flowing through it now, even if it didn't make sense, I still find play in both. I still find, business in both. And I just had to really find out, like, it just doesn't have to be I'm very strict or I'm very silly, because I'm very silly. But at the same time, I have to be about business in certain ways. So I have to find a great area where I could like mesh the two together, because it's either you get the real silly. At first, it was like you either get the real silly Vena or the real serious and like,
That's
like,
me.
yeah. So,
There ain't no in between. I'm
girl,
trying. I'm
I'm here to tell you right now, there is an in between. You just gotta find what is comfortable for you in that in between. You know what I'm saying?
So do you have a difficult time believing certain affirmations?
Sometimes, not more than often, but there are points in my I'm going to pinpoint towards my artistry and my career, where I've had to sit like I'm sitting. Where's the Kanye quote when he was like, "Damn, these niggas better than me." Like, I'm like, oh goodness, like I've had that idea before. I've had like, just the reflection, the comparison. The thief of joy is comparison, child. The
It
comparison
is.
of different artists or creators or different podcasters or different facilitators and hosts. And I'm like, God, I should be here. It's only been a year. And is this idea even good enough? Or like, am I who I say I am? Because I'm a real big hype type of woman to myself. There's a thing that I do as a coping skill more so is just I record, other than journaling, like I record like where I'm at and what I'm feeling at a certain amount of time. So it's like if I have those discouraging thoughts and stuff like that, I'll like go to my voice memo app in my phone, like, all right, girl. So why are we feeling like this? Because we seen this, we seen that. So what have we accomplished? Even if we haven't accomplished things that we wanted to do now within this period, what have we done? What can we do? And are we grateful for where we at? And I think the biggest thing for me right now is when I have those discouraging thoughts, or the moments where my confidence does feel like a little low, I have to sit in gratitude, because
Okay.
it's so many other things that could be happening, positions that I could be in right now. And I'm just grateful and filled with gratitude of where my placement is and the proximity that I have around people, and just opportunities and just everything else that encompasses not only just my artistry, but just like personal life, like my friends, my tribe, my family, everything else in that nature. Even though some things I may be like, oh goodness, I just can't believe this. Ultimately, what trumps those discouraging ideas or thoughts is just me sitting in gratitude. So there are times I do have a difficult time, like, believing certain affirmations, because like I said, I start to get a little discouraged. My confidence gets a little shaky, but who doesn't?
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say I'm not perfect as well, but I do understand that there are going to be highs and lows of things, and just being in gratitude to counter those days when I feel like, man, do I really think this? But I have to remind myself like who I am and what I do, like the facts of the
Okay.
matter. Okay,
Remind yourself of who you are.
right?
But I do, like, just to piggyback off of what you said, I do have a hard time believing certain affirmations, but that's only when I, hit a low point.
Yeah.
When life just keeps lifing and you just like, well, damn, am I gonna come up for air? Like, what is going on? And then that's when
Fighting, your arms hurting. You're fighting. You're fighting. You're fighting.
and you just, you play into your thoughts, and that's when I realize, like, okay, like, am I like gonna get married one day? Like, am I like, I know I'm deserving of love, but it's one
Much
thing
so.
to say it, but then sometimes you have the moments where it's just like, okay, if I'm deserving of love, where's my man? Like, I really, where's he at? Because I don't see him, please. But I just to give an example, I just have those moments where it's just, you know, when life takes a toll, I'm just in my thoughts, and then those affirmations kind of go out the window. But then, like you said, when you have that moment and you remember who the hell you are, you're like, oh, yeah, I'm worthy of love. My man gonna find me, please. Like, I
Right.
don't got time for that. I don't got time to be sitting here moping around. Woe is me. Like, life still goes on. I still have life. I'm breathing. I'm grateful. So let's just carry on accordingly. Just got to keep believing it. You got to walk in it, start to become it. It's a process, but full
Wow.
transparency, we get in there.
I
So, what occurred in your life that led you to tap into affirmations?
don't sound so cheesy, but it's very true.
Okay.
My parents were very vocal and very affirming, and showcased love. They showcased their appreciation, or they showcased like praise, or they showcased everything. Like my dad would make sure he would call us beautiful. Like you just my beautiful daughter. Don't you know that? My mom would of course you get honor roll and all other type of accolades in academia. And my mom like, you know what? Look at my smart daughter. You just my smart girl. Like so like it wouldn't go unnoticed. Like it'd be random times. Me and my sister and my mom would be like sitting around. She'd be like, y'all know I love y'all, right? Y'all are just amazing daughters. And it would just be out of nowhere. And we're like, okay, girl. But like at the same time, looking back at it, I really do appreciate it because they weren't shy from affirming. They weren't shy from saying that they were proud. They weren't shy from, physical touch as well too. Like, my parents hugged us a lot, kissed us a lot, cheered us on a lot, showed excitement a lot, even between themselves, like, in their marriage, and, until like they had separated, they weren't afraid to show that or display that or to say that. And I think that's where I get the courage in just making sure not only affirming myself, but the people in my tribe, my sisters, all my, like the people that I really do see, great things. And it's just not me blowing smoke up somebody's butt. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I'm really feeling this. I'm not saying things that I don't mean. And I made a vow to myself in my early 20s when I had like it was a past relationship, and I remember that my past partner, they would sit and say things and be like, I didn't mean to say that, I really didn't, da, 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 da. And like they'll try to renege it and take it back,
Yeah.
and I'm like, you know what? I don't want to be, you're like showing me like what I don't want to do, because you have to understand how certain words land on people. I really take that into consideration, because it's like I said before, like something in you believed that, something moved you to say that, whether it was the intention to hurt me or the real intention to get that off your chest. Something in you meant that, even though you may feel
Absolutely.
bad about saying it. I'm not going to sit here and say that it was hurtful for you to, like, to say that out your mouth, but something in you believe that's like somewhat of a truth. And I had made a vow to myself. I said, you know what? I'm always going to try my best or do my best to mean what I say more, because I understand how words can really affect somebody, how words can, can make somebody feel their way about somebody.
Shout out to your parents, first of all, for setting the
Yeah.
tone. I know you said it
Yeah.
sounded cheesy, it landed perfectly well, because I feel like the first place life is supposed to be spoken into you is your household. The people
Mm-hmm.
that raise you, your caregivers, your parents. And when those things are missing from within the household, I feel like things can happen one or two ways. Either when you go out into the world, you're looking for that. You're in search for those affirmations, those positive words, and you're going to believe everything that you hear from somebody, whether if it's true or not.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could be that person that don't know how to speak life into others.
All right.
So you may come off like a bit cold. And it's only because you don't know how to give that love, because that love wasn't given to you. So
Right.
my mother always told me, people say things out of anger, out of hurt. But some of that percentage, like you said, is true. Like if
Mm-hmm.
you want to know how somebody truly feels about you, get them upset, not intentionally, but see them upset. They
Yeah.
will say things that they, want to renege on. Once they say those things, it's like you can't take it back. Like they say, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words may never hurt me. That's a lie. Words do hurt. They
Girl,
cut
I'm
deep.
feeling it.
They cut real deep
They go real
because
deep. I
I
was
could
like,
sit here and probably, like, with some of the men that I've dated in my past that possibly had said something hurtful to me, I could remember that. I could replay it in my head. So if they was to ever try to come back and get back with me, I'm like, oh no, this is what you said. And now you got
wait
to
a
stand
minute.
on it. You got
Now
to
you got to
stand on it
sit
like
on
you said. Say it with the chest.
it.
With therapy, I've gotten way much better to the point it's like,
Right, come on,
in that
therapy.
moment, okay? In that moment, it's like, all right, let's remove the emotion really quickly and let's think logically. And if the person wants to talk, but I'm not ready to talk, I will tell that person, in this moment, I can't speak right now.
Right.
If we speak, it's not going to be a productive conversation. It's going to be counterproductive. So it's best that we revisit this when all parties are like calm, cool, and collective.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had to learn that with time, and I just would respect it more if someone just said, "Okay, not today. I can't talk today. Like I'm in my feelings." And I'm going to receive that because I be in my feelings too as a Pisces, like So
Oh, girl, that's like the water. That's the water, child. That's
I be in
that
my feelings, so,
flow.
I can relate. So if you in your feelings, which is probably going to make me be in my feelings, yeah, let's just wait.
Right.
So what are examples, like a few examples of positive affirmations you can give for, to the listeners?
I always say I'm divinely aligned. That's
Okay.
one. I'm gonna give a little quick explanation or dive into that. I don't think that anything's happening for like at a coincidental type of like timeline. Everything is divinely aligned. The fact that I woke up today and what I got for lunch was what I got for lunch. The fact that I had to go to the store today because I ran out of paper towels, just seeing a couple of people that I know from like, within my circle on my way to the store. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Maybe I was meant to see you today, or I was meant to see you today. Being here with you today, with presently, have a conversation about the specific topic, I feel like that was intentional because it's been a constant theme, I guess, throughout this whole weekend leading up to today, that words have been like the theme. And I'm like, oh, yeah, this is some cool shit. I believe that affirmation of mine, a positive affirmation is that, really build me up is I'm divinely aligned because whatever flows to me effortlessly is meant for me. And I don't want to rush something that's supposed to be marinated and savored and just get, I don't want to rush it. I don't want to rush something that's supposed to be marinated and savored. And I want to be able to enjoy it fully within all scopes, whether it's the process, the outcome, the after the outcome type of situation. So yeah, that's one. Another one is I am phenomenally made. It's very much
For
okay.
what?
Snap it up, snap it up. There's a snap. Because everything that encompasses, and that doesn't just go for like the positives. Sometimes I feel like my temper. I appreciate her side of now more than ever. Just me and my patience, wavering that all aspects of myself. I'm understanding that I'm phenomenally made and that I'm maneuvering through a certain type of realm, certain type of time in my life where I'm figuring me out. I'm taking this out. I'm putting things in. I'm trying to figure out who I am right now, or not even just more so trying. I am figuring out who I am right now, but with each step, I am loving myself much more deeper.
Much
I
more.
am giving myself much more grace. If I need to be disciplined and sharp in certain areas, I don't mind giving myself that type of discipline or sternness that I need. I am phenomenally made, and I believe that to the highest degree because I feel as if growing into my womanhood or growing into, this season of Vena, it's just so much to encompass. So it's a phenomenal type of situation. It's broad. It's no one, two, three type of things. It's different perspectives. It's different avenues that I have yet to go down or reconfigure, or I could create, or I could destroy and rebuild back up again. So those are my two. Those are my two.
I like that. Okay. I'm divinely aligned and I'm phenomenally made. Y'all
Yes.
heard it here first. And if you can drop a gem for the listeners, what would it be?
A gem.
Yes, like a takeaway, like something that they can
I,
leave from the show with.
I want to say, don't be afraid to redefine who you are.
Ooh.
Because redefinition is
Okay.
just you mixing up and finding different synonyms of who you are. If we're going to be on the basis of words, don't be afraid to redefine who you are and find different synonyms that match who you are now presently and even as you are growing. Feel like in the sense of words, I feel like a lot of words are colorful. Words are fun to use, whether you're affirming yourself, whether you're being direct or you're being, you got to get somebody straight or whatever the case may be. I feel like words are very fun. They're very, very fun. And I believe that redefinition is just you mismatching and trying to figure out, okay, this is who I was, this is who I'm turning to be, this is who I want to be, and until I get to who I want to be, this is who I am right now. Like I said, with the example of like, I'm an amazing person. Not trying to say amazing is like low class vocabulary, but I feel like there's so much oomph. And like I said, phenomenal. I am dynamic. It's like a oof. It's like
More
it calls
powerful. Yeah.
it calls upon
Yeah.
different things, and there's a reason why there's different words for like the same meaning, you know what I'm saying, but they call upon different things. So I would tell the listeners, don't be afraid, don't be scared or have a scarcity mindset that, okay, I've been amazing for 10 years. I mean, yeah, that's beautiful, wonderful structure. What is another synonym? What can we grow and flow into
What else?
now that we are experiencing ourselves in a different realm, a different navigation? Because everything changes. You're not going to be the same person a year from now, 10 years from now, whatever the case may be. So I always say,
Yesterday.
right, hello. It changes so quickly now. It just changes quickly. But don't be afraid to redefine who you are or find another synonym to reflect and to show like where you are now presently, and just find companionship in that. First heard, because fun fact, I love Stevie Wonder now. I guess as me growing as a woman, I'm finding a more deeper appreciation for Stevie Wonder's artistry because the words he
Don't
used,
don't
they're
get me
so
started.
they're so intentional. When I heard the song Joy, somebody's telling you that they're
I'm getting
overjoyed.
goosebumps right now. I love Stevie
Girl,
Wonder.
girl, shout
Like,
out to Stevie. I can't wait for him to see this.
girl, go. I have to comment because first of all, I feel like he was just speaking to me just now regarding like don't be afraid to redefine yourself. We go through so many life changes. We can't be scared to redefine who we are when we adapt to the change. You know what I'm saying? So that's one. Commenting on Stevie Wonder, his artistry, like he has inspired so many of our favorites. And
Oh my,
yes, I when I listen to his music, it's just it makes me feel happy. Like it makes me
oh my
feel
God.
safe. Even when I sometimes I can't listen to Overjoy because it makes me like emotional. I know that may sound cheesy, and I'm
It's
like,
not
no,
cheesy.
not
It's not
today.
cheesy. It's an emotional song, but and I said this posting on my story one time. I was like, imagine someone loving you the way a Stevie Wonder love song sounds. Overjoyed. I'm overjoyed. Imagine joy is something that's deeply embedded, and
Uh,
understanding that word and that verbiage and that dialect and using that to express like that certain type of endearment for somebody, it surpasses just the I like you or oh yeah, you're cute, I love you, I'm infatuated.
is deep.
Overjoyed.
Is deep.
Come on
Even like
now.
Ribbon in the Sky too. Like that song gets me all. His music just makes
Girl,
me bad emotional. I just be like, yo, what is wrong with
because
me?
it's
I'm
the
like,
words. It's the words. It's the words. It's the expression. It's the I'm claiming this. I'm calling this in. When he said it's far much more than a lucky chance, but what it is, what always meant, it's a ribbon in the sky for our love.
God, I love
What?
it.
What are you saying to me right now, Stevie? What are you saying? You're saying things
True.
that they overcompensate. It's so much more deeper than just I like you, I'm in love, I just da da da. It's the flow, it's the intention behind it, and that's what I specified this whole time. The intention. This is not just a factuation. This is not just me seeing you at surface level. This is a more spiritual type of movement, and I want you to understand that, and I want you to hear what I'm saying because
Go listen
that's what
to
it's
that.
describing. Girl, yes. Yes,
Now
yes,
you're
yes.
making me want to go listen to that after this recorded.
Yes.
But can you drop your handles, Vina? Thank you so much
Yes,
again
it's
for
no
coming
problem.
into the vulnerable room. Like
Yeah.
I felt the warmth through the phone. Like and I felt like certain moments you were talking directly to me and I just hope that this like lands for somebody else as well.
Yeah.
But can you drop your handles where the listeners can connect with you or follow you and tap into your podcast?
Of course, no problem. So, hey, y'all, I'm the mama and the host of the Confession Korner Podcast, a podcast that specializes in navigating conversations with Black artists, creators, and influencers alike with topics surrounding mental health and wellness and highlighting the humanity of such artists, creators, and influencers. My handle, so the Confession Korner is THE. Confession is spelled with a K, spelled the same
Okay.
way, just change the C's to the K's. THE confession with a K and then corner with a K. And yeah. And then my personal page is just 3 underscores in the front, Vena. That's 3 underscores in the front, VE.
Massive.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
Well,
So
I
yeah.
definitely will tag you, of course, once this episode
Of course.
becomes available. That way it's more accessible for the listeners. But again, thank you so much. We finally did this recording and I
Yeah. Thank you
appreciate
so much for
you.
having me. This was
We will
amazing. I had
definitely
a great time.
we'll definitely continue to be connected. Like hopefully one of these days, like we cross paths in real
No,
time.
I'll be happy to see the white of your eyes in person.
But thank you
I
so much, Mina.
Of course. Thank you so much, Dean. Thank you for having me here in the vulnerable room. I felt safe. I felt free. It felt authentic. And I'm just excited to see you excel as a podcast sister within your artistry, within your creative journey. And thank you so much for having this beautiful space.
No problem. Thank you so much. Mission accomplished
No.
for you feeling so okay. But thank you so much. And I wish you nothing but prosperity and continue to keep growing, continue to push your work. People are watching, whether you notice or not. So someone is always
sometimes. Right.
always.
Likewise, girl.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Come on, y'all. We know these combos ain't for the faint. Thank you for listening to the Vulnerable Room podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, head on over to Anchor or Spotify to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Follow at The Vulnerable Room on Instagram or visit thevulnerableroom.com for the latest tea. See you next time. Love you all and have a great week.